Welcome to another episode of Professor Habben's Science Cabin, where again we are down on the farm here at Tug Hill Farm in Morrison, Illinois. And today I'm going to tell you a little bit about fall tillage work and why we do it, how it's done, and kind of give you that experience. So hang on, we're going to go for a ride. I'm going to do the work while I talk to you about it, and we'll see if we can get some stuff done and see if you can learn a little bit. Here we go. Watch there behind me, you can see what I have behind me is what we call a disc chisel plow. It has disc blades on the front of it that slice through the residue, the corn stalks, the bean stubble, anything that's left over from the crop. That's what we call residue, residual items, residue. But anyway, so that helps cut that so it can go through and get plowed under by the shanks. The shanks are like a curved piece of steel that come around into the ground. They've got a twisted plate on the bottom of them that actually dig the dirt and lift it and tip it over. Kind of like what John Deere's old original plow was, but a smaller version of it. It's not the same theory, but it loosens the soil in a similar manner, but it doesn't completely turn it over, therefore leaving some of the residue on top. By leaving some of that residue on top, it helps prevent erosion, or is at least as severe of erosion, things like that. That's why people use tools like this more commonly than the old moldboard plow that was John Deere's original plow that he created. The reason you would want to do fall tillage work, there's multiple reasons why you want to do it. One of the biggest ones is to loosen that seed bed up so it's getting it ready for the next year and get rid of any compaction that happened during the year. In many cases, a lot of that compaction comes from the machine traffic that's been out here, the planters, the sprayers, the combine, the grain cart, the semis, whatever you drove on that field with during that season, it compacted that soil and makes that soil tight, which is going to be hard for a new plant to grow into the next year. Those roots, you know, how they grow out through the ground, they like to go through looser soil, so you want to have that soil loose for them if it's at all possible. Another reason why you would potentially want to loosen that soil up is to help out with drying it out in the spring. Now in my case, I have quite a bit of my acreage that's down in the bottoms ground, meaning it's low-lying ground, tends to be fairly moist, sometimes even floods. It's very typical in many years for me to get some flood water out here. And anyway, so by loosening this soil up and burying some of that residue so the sun can hit that nice dark black soil that's exposed, it'll dry out faster in the spring and help me have the opportunity to get in the field a little bit quicker, have a warmer seed bed so maybe plants will start growing a little bit quicker, that type of thing. So that's why I do a tillage in my bottoms ground. On some of my hillier ground up on the slopes where it's more prone to erosion, it's more often that I will not do fall tillage on them, and I will let that all be stable and try to prevent erosion that way. And then in some cases, I will plant into that in the spring without tilling it at all. Just go through with the planter, so the only tillage that happens is just a little strip right there where the planter goes, which I'll probably do future episodes on the planting process. But anyway, otherwise I might just do it a single pass with a field finisher in the spring to just lightly till that ground and not as severely as what I'm doing with this chisel plow. Chisel plowing, it's kind of time consuming. It pulls really hard. So to kind of put it in perspective, the tool I have behind me is about 14 feet wide. It has 11 shanks on it going into the ground. And so every pass across the field, I'm really only covering 14 feet of the field, and then I got to go back and do the next 14 feet. To put it in perspective, when I do my field finisher in the spring, that's a 28-foot wide tool. I drive the same speed with both of them, actually a whisker faster with the field finisher. And so therefore, I get twice as many acres done with the field finisher in that same hour of the day. So I got to pull this handle back here. That's what actually raises my chisel plow. It's raised hydraulically from the tractor. Then I got to turn around so you can see me spinning the steering wheel there. Kind of talking through the process of how we get it in and out of the ground. There's also another handle here towards the back where that disc blade gang on the front of it, I can change how much that's engaging the ground, raise or lower that. Because I mowed these corn stalks off, I really don't need that to chop up the stalks a lot. And so to save on horsepower and save on fuel efficiency, I actually have those raised up what's called a power shift transmission, meaning you can shift the gears while under power. You don't have to stop to place it in the next gear. Kind of like an automatic transmission in your car, except I have to tell it to do it. Typically, I run either 7th or 8th gear, which is about 4.5 mile an hour in 7th or 5 mile an hour in 8th. It just depends how things are going. I started in 7th gear to be a little bit slower so I can pay more attention to talking to you. But I'll go ahead and shift it up to 8th to give you the understanding how that works. And in this machine, you go to the right to speed it up or to the left to slow it down. So there we just bumped it up. You probably heard the engine work a little harder. And now we're doing just a little bit over 5 mile an hour as we're chisel plowing. And that's about all this machine can handle with this chisel plow as deep in the ground as I have. I have it as deep as it will absolutely go, trying to loosen this soil up. So anyway, I hope you learned a little bit about chisel plowing and why we do it. Other people use different tillage tools. There's rippers, there's the old moldboard plow, and then sometimes they use parabolic plows, which tend to do a better job of just lifting the soil but not actually turning it over. Several different ways of doing things. Again, every farm does things differently for their own purposes. They have different soils, they have different ways that they operate their farm. And so that doesn't mean that what I'm doing here on Tug Hill Farm is perfect for everybody else. But I can tell you, for all the years that I've been farming this place, which is over 30 personally, and obviously been on this farm over 50 in my entire lifetime, we've dialed in on a practice here that works pretty good for us on our farm. So after I turn around, I just got to pop it back in the ground again, and we're going back the other way. So one last thing I'll show you is kind of how it is for the operator from the operator's seat as to what I'm doing. So the one thing is you find yourself turning around quite often and looking over your shoulder, and you find that that kind of wears on the body. You're twisting yourself, you're sitting there kind of sideways a lot of the day. So one thing that I personally do is I spend a little bit of time aligning my mirrors so that I can see a lot of the machine just looking forward and using my mirrors, and then I don't have to turn around near as much. So between my 3 mirrors, the left and the right outside mirrors, and then the actual rear view mirror here in the cab, I'll show you the visibility I have. And as you can tell, I can see most all of that machine. Since I couldn't see what you could see, I'm hoping that I did a good enough job showing that to you. But if I didn't, I apologize. So with that, I think we'll wrap up this episode of Professor Hammond's Science Cabin. I hope you learned something. I enjoy doing these for you, and I hope you enjoy watching them. And I look forward to talking to you in a future episode. Take care and be safe.